Our own healing is the greatest gift we can give each other. We are both influencing and being influenced in every single moment. Right now, our nervous systems are talking to each other, listening and responding thousands of neuroreceptors in constant conversation and collaborating, creating our evolving shared human experience. Take a look around the room and consider that every single person here is currently your co-creator. Now, take a conscious breath and consider, what am I contributing to the non-verbal conversation? In a cellular way, in an energetic way, what are others receiving from me? Our presence has impact. Whether we're aware of it or not, whether we like it or not, we can either be part of somebody's healing, a sense of safety, a reflection of power, of goodness, of hope, or we can be part of somebody's deficit, a sense of darkness, a whirlwind of stress and chaos, or a silent shadow of disconnection or loneliness. Either way, our presence is powerful. When you add intention to your presence, you get the healing effect, a series of ripples that improve our shared human experience. The question is, how intentional are you being with your presence? My name is Natalia Rachel. I am an author, a relationship and culture innovator, a therapist, consultant, and trauma-informed educator. I'm also a woman who has lived through multitudes of pain and even more multitudes of healing. From childhood trauma to mental health misdiagnosis as a teen, to violence and abuse as a young woman, and in my early 20s, a mystery illness that was actually trauma taking hold of my physiology and taking me to near death over 11 years. I've been through it all. During my years of illness, my doctors and also pretty much everyone around me had no idea how to help me. And even with best intentions, often they couldn't really help, they made it worse. After nearly 11 years, they also told me I wouldn't make it to C40. Words have incredible power. They have the power to trap us in a reality that's not meant for us. They also have the power to emancipate us and set us free. For a time, I believed what the doctors told me. But it turns out that was not the end of my story, not by a long shot. As you all already know, yesterday I turned 44. And I'm the most vital and liberated and playful that I've been in my entire life. My trauma story is not unique. There are millions who are living through similar stories today. My journey to heal is unique. Slowly but surely, I managed to extricate myself from a paradigm that was not enlivening me and build a life full of peace and power. One where I can show up in ways that are sustainable, authentic, and collaborative. One where I can rest and play and create and love. One where instead of being a woman in eternal distress and need, I am now a woman who has so much to give. On my journey to heal, I studied with teachers and mentors and masters across 4 continents. And now I teach and speak and consult across 4 continents, not only to support others to heal, but to inspire us all to become a force of healing for others. As I've travelled teaching around the world, there's been some very interesting experiences that I've had, from building Asia's first somatic trauma clinics to developing the intersection between talk therapy and bodywork, to working in the US in the behavioural healthcare system and supporting the most underserved populations of New York to recover and thrive and step into leadership and transform the way that they create their healthcare culture, to working with women from all over the world in a tiny seaside town in the Netherlands, a bit north of Amsterdam. It was incredibly powerful. We created a sacred container for them to have almost like a pivot point where they recalibrate their relationship to both their trauma and their healing. And more recently, since moving back to Australia, after living away nearly a decade, working with UNSW and Medibank to develop the Living Poetry Project, which supported Australian youths at university to use poetry and process to understand their relationship narratives. Some of the things that these Australian youths connected to at such a young age was mind-blowing. This is truly prevention. I'm very passionate about finding new, interesting, creative and soul-lifting ways to support us all to heal. And there is just so much we can do. I really see humanity through a very complex and nuanced kaleidoscope. The ways that we hurt, the ways that hurt shapes us, and the way that hurt travels between us, and also the ways we heal, the ways that healing reshapes us, and the way that healing travels between us. In today's session, we're going to unpack the concept of the healing effect, which essentially suggests that our own healing is the social change that we are all craving. As more of us become accountable for our healing, we create more resource, more capacity, more light, and there's a knock-on effect. My healing supports your healing. Your healing supports your family's healing, both the older and the younger generations. It has an impact on your social circle, your colleagues. It has an impact on the person sitting next to you on the bus. It has an impact on the people either side of you right now. Just as trauma travels through relationships, so does healing. I've used the word trauma a couple of times already, so let's get clear about what I mean when I use it. Because trauma has recently become a buzzword. We're also #traumatized. Or are we? Trauma is when a past experience of threat that's over is living and breathing in us now. We're experiencing the past in the present. It shows up as sensations, emotions, and relating patterns. It is largely unconscious, non-verbal, and felt. It travels through relationships, families, communities, cultures, and systems. It also travels through generations until we decide to break the cycle. Trauma is not the past experience itself. It's the way we are altered if we are unable to metabolize and integrate that experience. So two people could go through a very similar or even the exact same harrowing experience. One person may become altered, traumatized. The other person might recover and heal and become more resilient than before. The biggest differentiator is the presence or absence of safe, supportive relationships at the time of and after the trauma. Our task, every single one of us, is to become that safe, supportive person, to be the reflection of safety, of power, of goodness. But not all of us are ready just yet. Some of us are still focusing on our own healing. Some of us still need to receive support from others so that we can get there. But what a powerful social intention to hold. Intention is a wonderful thing, but without a conscious strategy or philosophy, it may not get you very far. You can have great intentions and still end up triggering or hurting somebody else. You can have great intentions, but still end up hurting yourself or taking yourself in really not the best direction for you or for others. As we heal, we will continue to spiral or circle or cycle through similar things. We may feel like we're making some progress for a while, but then we find ourselves back in that familiar black hole, engaging in that same unhealthy coping mechanism or back in that less than ideal relationship dynamic. And we tend to be very hard on ourselves when we cycle back or we relapse. Here's the thing. We will continue to enter these spirals or circles or cycles until we unlock a new layer of conscious awareness, not only about our own suffering, but the shared nature of our suffering. It took me many, many years of healing, mistake-making, course-correcting and refining to understand that healing is not a linear, finite process with an end, nor is it a solitary one. Healing is rather a way of living and relating. Healing is a way of life. Everybody in the room has the good intentions. We're here for good, thanks to the Women's Resilience Centre and Local Kind. I'm about to share the strategy with you. The laws of peace and power are a series of 6 philosophies that protect us from harm and oppression and ensure that we don't instigate it for others. To heal is to embody them. You'll notice that the laws of peace and power, these 6 philosophies, they fold in on themselves, and each of them has a relational quality. Our healing is shared. We don't live in isolation. These philosophies are unpacked at great length in my book, Why Am I Like This? Illuminating the Traumatized Self, and there's also a lot more of my story in there too. Today we're just going to really dip our pinky finger into each of them, and I'll also be offering you a line of self-inquiry so they can begin to percolate in your unconscious right away. Law number 1, reclaiming sovereignty. Sovereignty is the opposite of suffering. When we are sovereign, we have basic rights to freedom, expression, and authenticity. When we are not sovereign, we will feel we are at the mercy of another, a person, a relationship, a family, a culture, a system. Many of us do not have access to total sovereignty in our world, and it's important that we name that. There's a misconception with the word sovereignty that it's about ourselves, this experience of the self. It's actually about the dynamic between self and other. Existentially, we crave sovereignty. Unconsciously, we seek it, and without it, we suffer. There are 3 ways that we will react in a world or in a dynamic where our sovereignty is denied. The first is to adapt and alter ourselves, to self-abandon. We will alter ourselves, we will adapt, we will lose ourselves in favour of a sense of belonging, a semblance of it. But here we lose ourselves a little or a lot. The second is self-exile. We will exit the relationship or the system because we sense that our autonomy or agency or independence is more important than the sense of togetherness. But here we might feel a sense of being an outcast, misunderstood, lonely. The third is to enter conflict. We will fight for change, we will argue with each other, we will rage against the system. But where there is no peace, there will always be suffering. Sovereignty says, I can relate to you, but still be me. I can be part of the tribe, but still maintain my sense of uniqueness and individuality. I can be part of the system, I can even contribute to its function while still maintaining my sense of autonomy and independence and vitality. In recent years, our quest for sovereignty has been renamed our quest for well-being. Well-being is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There is no well-being brand that can sell us our sovereignty. It does not exist in biohacks or meditation apps or cute yoga pants, though I really like cute yoga pants, so why not? Sovereignty only emerges when we learn the delicate dance between belonging and individuation. My line of self-inquiry for you here is how can I slowly step towards my sovereignty, and how can I support others to do the same? Law number 2, capacity and personal sustainability. We all have a certain amount of capacity for aliveness, and that capacity is changing all of the time. When we are living within our capacity, we will sense that all is well. We will have plenty of energy for ourselves and each other. Our boundary with the world is intact. When we are living beyond our capacity, we will enter a state of overwhelm, excess, and depletion. We will not have enough energy for ourselves or others. Our boundary with the world is out of whack or totally non-existent. Our body is wise. It will always let us know when we are approaching or have exceeded our capacity. Fatigue, stress, anxiety, a shorter fuse, aches and pains, tension in the body, a headache, sleep changes, digestive changes, temperature and blood pressure changes. These are all the body's whispers letting us know we need to come back and recalibrate our boundary with the world. Our relationships will also always reflect our capacity levels back to us. Either they will be peaceful, respectful, reciprocal, spacious, and generative, or they will be depleting, draining, difficult, full of tension, maybe feeling disconnected or inequitable, like one's giving more than the other. When we live beyond our capacity, our well-being is lost, and our ability to love each other well is lost. I want to sidebar here for a moment because context is so important. The world we live in validates and rewards us for living beyond our capacity, whether that is to do more, achieve more, have more, climb more, or whether it's to give more and receive less. I have a dear friend that fondly refers to herself as the cactus. She's strong, she's stoic, she can self-protect, and she has very little needs. The truth is, we are all roses or tulips or those cute little bonsai plants that need constant care and attention in order to flourish and be our best selves. Recalibrating the balance of output and input, of giving and receiving, is important for restoring and increasing our collective capacity. Because if my giving to you comes at the cost of my well-being, I'm not really increasing capacity or creating abundance, I'm just shifting the deficit. And if I can give to you, but I can't receive from you, I'm excluding myself from the shared regenerative human loop. It's not a sustainable way of living and relating. It's the opposite of healing. The goal here is personal and collective sustainability. One big, beautiful, slow burn of self-care and shared care. My self-inquiry line for you here is, are you living within or beyond your capacity? What might you need to shift? Are you asking others to live beyond their capacity for your benefit? Are you validating them for living beyond their capacity? You're so amazing. I don't know how you do so much. You're so strong. You're a superhero. This is how we do it. What can we shift? Law number 3, complete accountability. If we desire peace and power, we must become completely accountable for our lives. Every word, every action, every choice, every breath, these are the brushstrokes of the artwork of self and our contribution to the collective masterpiece. If we've lived through a lot of difficult things or found ourselves very under-resourced in the presence, we might not have access to a sense of impulse or desire, or a sense of agency, the ability to make choices. And then accountability feels totally out of reach. If we're further along in our healing journey, or we're blessed enough to have access to our own sense of agency and will, or we find ourselves very well resourced, we can become the one that sparks accountability for others through little relational invitations to express their preferences or desires and make choices within relationship to us. These little invitations accumulate. Accountability will always follow. Together, we become accountable for each other's most beautiful and empowered lives. My self-inquiry question for you here is, how accountable are you with the way you walk through the world? Where do you need to be a little more accountable? Here's a bit of a nudge. And do you invite others to express their preferences or make choices to take the lead? in dynamic with you? If not, why not? Can you start making that part of your relational way? Law number 4, receptivity. Receptivity is the art of pairing perception with responsiveness. Our receptivity levels increase as we heal. However, most of us are not really receptive because we're full of conditioning, outdated belief systems, unresolved trauma, and we're also running at high speed. So there's no time or space to truly digest what we hear. When we are not receptive, we are not really safe to enter vulnerable connection with. There are 3 clear ways to tell if someone is not receptive and therefore not really safe to be vulnerable with. The first is reactivity. Responses are loaded with charge, intensity, and emotions, often with a side helping of judgment or shame or blame. The second one is one-upping, where we insert ourselves or compare ourselves. Have you ever told somebody a story and it's kind of deep, kind of tender, and they respond by saying, that reminds me of a time when I blah, 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 insert similar experience here. This is rarely what's needed in a moment of tenderness. The third way is mansplaining and uninvited coaching. So here, responses answer an unasked question, or there's an attempt to facilitate, to improve, to fix, to solve, to better the person's experience. And it can actually feel totally invalidating. When we are receptive, we are mindful, we are present, we are reflective, and we are curious. Here we become a safe person. We allow others to feel seen and heard, understood, and ideally validated and supported. Receptivity is a gift. To be seen is the most healing elixir of all. My self-inquiry question here for you is, how receptive are you really? Do you do any of those things? Take note. Law number 5, purity of power. Pure power is free from force, manipulation, or competition. Most of us are playing with power in one way or another. We're all seductresses or salespeople to a degree. Let's be real. As we heal, we learn to stop playing with power and rather begin to restore the balance of power. Pure power exists in our stability and sense of self, in both the strength and flexibility of our boundaries, in our ability to be receptive and empathetic, but also in our ability to place accountability and agency in the hands of its rightful owners, to stop pulling and pushing each other or holding burdens that are not ours to carry. There's an element of surrender here. And if you are a recovering control freak like me, you might initially find this one a little bit challenging. One more sidebar for context here. The world we live in teaches us and really demands us to play with power, whether that's to force, to push, to climb, to manipulate, to sell, to compete. This is our world. It is a daily prayer or a daily practice to stop forcing, to stop selling people into storylines that benefit us, and to shift from competition to camaraderie. Here, we can adopt a power to empower attitude. We learn to hold our own, share it sustainably, and spark the seed of it in others. My self-inquiry question for you here is, in what ways do you force, compete, sell, manipulate? We all do it. Can you put them down? Please put them down. The last law of peace and power is reverence, and I'm going to read you a short excerpt on reverence from my book. In reverence, we offer sacred attention and care to all energy and awareness, our own and each other's. Rather than seek perfection, we strive for authenticity. Rather than seek outcome, we orient to intention. Rather than claim righteousness, we welcome all perspectives. Rather than ask others to be where they are not, we simply meet them where they are, even if that means to let them go. Rather than hold the weight of the world, we simply hold our own and stabilise within the temporary chaos that may bring. We welcome a new kind of peace, a deeper sense of compassion, reverent with our life force, our capacity, our boundaries, reverent with our expression, our words, our actions, reverent with the ownership and responsibility of our power. In reverence, we set each other free. How reverent are you with the way you walk through the world? I hope the ripples of these philosophies are already spiralling inside you and that they begin to transcend into all the lives you touch. Take another look around the room at your co-creators. Can you already feel the shift? I can. Our healing, our shared healing, is the sweetest and most sustainable revolution of all. Thank you.